أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Mu'mineen and mu'minat, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our efforts in this Laylatul Jumu'ah and this Eve of Friday, and forgive us and forgive our marhumeen, especially from our ancestors, family members, and from our community members, those who lost their loved ones. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them, inshaAllah, especially on this Laylatul Jumu'ah, as they expect some gifts from us. And the best gifts is to remember them and give something good on their behalf, do something good on their behalf, whether it be a charity, an act of goodness, or if one is unable to do that, they can at least seek forgiveness for them or recite something for them, Quran or dua, or even 2 rak'ah prayers, offer them on their behalf, all of which would be beneficial for them at a time that they cannot do anything for themselves. That's part of, in fact, akhlaq. We try to cover some aspects of Islamic ethics on Thursday night as a step towards purification, tazkiyatun nafs, which is a necessity for our spiritual journey. If we do not do it, we are at loss. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Inshallah, we are not amongst those who would be disappointed and regretful. Rather, we would be pleased and happy to have purified and continue to purify. And part of our purification is to do our part and fulfill our duty to others who passed, those who were with us and are no longer with us. They cannot do anything for themselves, we do it for them. We get double the rewards. We get the rewards for doing it, and we get the rewards for doing it for them and being dutiful to them as well, inshaAllah. We were going through Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq from Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. Very powerful dua. Some of you were with us from the beginning. Many beautiful meanings so far, starting with asking God to strengthen our faith and purify our intentions so that we have the best actions. That is in regards to our relationship with God. And then he asks that God helps him with, and he teaches us to ask that God helps us with purifying our intentions and magnifying our good intentions. So make sure that we're having more and more good intentions, and we intend good in more and more of our actions in general, in the sense that we are conscious of our duty to God in our day-to-day actions. So more often we think of God as we make our decisions and act in life, rather than think of ourselves or think of worldly gains, or even just our family members just for their sake. If we think of them for the sake of God, obviously that itself is in line with making sure our intentions are fully for the sake of God. So he asks for all those, and then he says, make me often worship you, obey you, and do not destroy and allow my worship to be destroyed by my act, my ujb. Ujb being self-satisfied, satisfied with what we are and how we are. The next part he says, وأجر للناس على يدي الخير ولا تمحقه بالمن وهب لي معالي الأخلاق واعصمني من الفاخر. he asks, he says, Ya Allah, allow me to be the means of goodness to people. Ultimately, every good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anybody receives any good from anyone, the sources of that good is God. We only become the means to those good things. We have opportunities that we become a link of that goodness. So he says, وَأَجْرِ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى يَدَيَّ الْخَيْرِ. Allow me and my hands to be the means to make your goodness flow through them. Goodness is from God, like the rain flowing is from God. Then we become the intermediaries. Allow me to have that opportunity. Again, many people have opportunities in life to do good, but they miss out on it. God gives us opportunities. Some of us have the opportunity to help others financially because we are given more than what we need. Therefore, God is giving us an opportunity to help those in need. Some of us have opportunities to help others in terms of even physically, if they are unwell. Doctors, for example, they have that opportunity. Pharmacists, they have that opportunity. They can help people in terms of healing them, help them become better, feel well. Ultimately, who is Shafi? Who is the one who grants the cure? We know that it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's God. وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِي. If I get sick, who's gonna make me feel better? Ultimately, it is God who cures. But then there are means. And inshallah we understand that this is the world of means. The world of asbab. He is musabbibul asbab. He is the cause of all causes. But He has made the world in a way that there are causes. Non-believers, hypocrites, when they were asked to help the needy, they would say, أَنُطْعِمُ مَنْ لَوْ يَشَاءُ اللَّهُ أَطْعَمَهُ. When they're asked to feed, they say, why should we feed people whom if God wanted to, He would feed them? Look at the fallacy and the mentality. Yes, if God wants to, He will feed them, of course. He's giving you the opportunity. And it has to happen in the world of asbab, means. It has to happen through its natural means. Now you have been given that opportunity. And yes, you could be the cause of whether goodness happens for them or even harm happens to them. You could be the cause, not that God does not have anything to do with it. No, God allows either. And He's giving you the opportunity. He's given me, us, the opportunity. Therefore, we have to understand that it is our responsibility. It is not just an option. Yes, it is an opportunity, but at the same time, as a believer, it is our responsibility. The higher we go in our journey of purification and faith, and the stronger our faith is, the more responsible we feel. For average people, it's like, okay, I'm talking about the average believing people, yeah? I'll do the bare minimum. Okay, I have to pay khums, I'll pay my khums. This is very good, by the way, because not many have that, are blessed to do that. There are many people who find reasons to even skip the wajib, the bare minimum, the obligatory part. khums and zakat, they try and skip it. Even, for example, if your parents are needy, if your parents are financially in need, just like your family, your children, your wife and children are your responsibility, your parents, if they're in need, they're your responsibility. For example, if one's parents are in need, they cannot take out of their charity or their wajib zakat or wajib khums and give it to their parents. Yes, they can spend on them and automatically that gets deducted from whatever money they would have left to give khums and zakat. However, they cannot give them from their khums and zakat. That's their responsibility. But that's a wajib responsibility, yeah? Some people are satisfied with that, wajib. It's wajib, I give it. What if it's not wajib? What if it is a family member who's in need and it's not obligatory? Quran tells us the believers, when they get to a certain level of faith, they recognize that God gave them more to give. This is where Quran says, وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ. They find now for who? Quran says, لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. Yeah? The one who's asking and the one who's deprived, meaning one who's modest not to ask. Okay? That is not your wajib khums and zakat. That's obvious. You gotta give your wajib khums and zakat, and you don't give it to the one who's begging. No, khums and zakat goes to the system. It has its own system. So what is this one? What is this right? It is the right of sa'il. They feel like they have a duty. They feel the responsibility. So anytime they have the opportunity, they don't consider it just an opportunity that I can choose yes or no. They feel it is my responsibility. وَأَجْرِ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى يَدَيَّ الْخَيْرِ is basically the Imam teaching us to seize those opportunities so that we become the means of goodness coming to people. To take advantage of those opportunities, not to let them go. If one thinks in that way, then they don't feel it's an option, no, they feel it's an opportunity, I have to do it. And then the Imam teaches us something very important, which is also clarified in the Quran as the way we can protect our good deeds and charitable acts. Quran says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُبْطِلُوا صَدَقَاتِكُمْ بِالْمَنِّ وَالْأَذَى. Butlan is voiding. Do not void your charity with telling people, somehow making them feeling indebted to you. Now this man is something I have not found a translation that gives it its right meaning. You know, often they say making people feel obliged. Perhaps that's the closest, but it's not the full meaning of the term man. Man is when through words, actions, somehow you make the person feel little. You make them feel that you've done it. I've done this for you, now you owe me. Or I've done this for you, so obliged is where now you owe me. But it's not only that. It could be at times, it's not about you owe me. You can never repay me anyway. That's how big I am, that's how little you are. Sometimes that's how people make others feel when they do something good. That voids the charitable act. It makes it more worldly. You exercise some sort of power, authority, a position You felt good about yourself here. That's your reward. Don't ask God for a reward anymore. So the Quran tells us, and the Imam says, وَلَا تَمْحَقْهُ بِالْمَنِ. Don't make my good deeds disappear, evaporate, go void completely where they don't even exist. The tamhaqhu is a very beautiful expression. As it seems like the Imam is looking at the reality, the realm of malakut, beyond mulk, beyond this world, beyond the world of matter. And therefore he's looking at the action just like Quran describes it, haba'an manthura. You know, an action has some reflection. And now suddenly it turns into dust and it basically disappears. It just spreads out and disappears. Imagine an image that breaks down into its pixels and starts spreading and it's gone. Eventually you cannot see it anymore. This is kind of the analogy that the Imam is giving. If we make people feel little and make them obliged and do man on them when we do good deeds and charitable acts, then that's what happens. It just evaporates. It just disappears. It goes away. Okay? It's no longer visible, no longer useful. وَلَا تَمْحَقْهُ بِالْمَنِ وَهَبْ لِي مَعَالِيَ الْأَخْلَاقِ وَعْصِمْنِي مِنَ الْفَخْرِ. Another thing that happens now, the Imam is asking for the best level of akhlaq, the highest level of morality. This is something really big. When people give charity, if somebody is given more than what they need, therefore they have an opportunity to give charity. When people give charity, often they feel that they are in a higher position. Godly people don't feel that. Godly people feel privileged by God and by the person who is needy and asking that you have given me that opportunity. Thank you, God, and thank you, Mr. Needy, whoever you are. Okay? Needy person. Whether you asked for it or I started without you asking, which is the better way, whichever way, I feel grateful to you because you gave me that opportunity. Oftentimes, you'll find it, in fact, I've seen it in many organizations. I don't want to now start attacking one group of faith against another, and this would not sound good for us because oftentimes it's others. But in any case, when they do something, when they've done something good, their expression is thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I've heard this quite a few times in places where people did something, charitable act, not for any worldly profit at least, or monetary, and their first statement is thanks for the opportunity. You're trying to thank them and they are telling you, no, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. So they feel privileged that you've given me the opportunity. It's a blessing. That's the reality of it. The Imams of Ahlul Bayt tell us, amongst the blessings of God upon you is the asking of people, the needs from people towards you. حَوَائِجُ النَّاسَ إِلَيْكُمْ مِنْ نِعَمِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. The fact that people need you is a blessing from God to you. So that person who is in that position that needs me has given me an opportunity, therefore I should be grateful, not feel like I have an upper hand, I'm better. No. God gave me that opportunity. Thank God I was mature enough, wise enough, and blessed enough to seize the opportunity, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. The next level, which is very subtle and very difficult to fight, is where one starts having good ethics, good morality, high level of it. What sometimes would happen, maybe often, we ask God that we're not amongst those. Suddenly, one starts feeling a sense of pride and arrogance that I am better. Okay? So I've said it often to people. When somebody wrongs you and you're able to forgive them, okay, and not react, should I feel like I am a better person? Should I feel like, oh, thank God I'm better than them? Is that what I should feel like? The Imam is telling us not to feel like that. In fact, Imam Rida alayhi salam says, no matter who you say he is better than me. هو خير مني. That's the completion of aql, intellect. He says if you cannot see it that way, your intellect is incomplete. Because you're blocking yourself from progressing, from becoming better. No, say he is better. So if you have the opportunity to forgive and be in a better, basically ethical position, moral position, how should I feel? I'm better than this person? Or should I be more grateful to God that I was not put in a position to act like them? And I was, so therefore I should feel gratitude to God, not arrogance against this individual. So he says, وَهَبْ لِي مَعَالِيَ الْأَخْلَاقِ, grant me the highest levels of ethics and morality, but do not allow me to have arrogance. وَعْصِمْنِي, protect me from having a level of arrogance and feeling like you're better than others. This finishes one of the sections of the dua where the Imam starts the other one with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah we'll continue in the future. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us ma'ali al-akhlaq, the highest levels of morality, and grant us the opportunity to be charitable and use the chances that we are given in life to be charitable, and not to make people feel little, and not to be arrogant when we are in a good position of morality. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. If I make a request, Surah Al-Fatiha for all the marhumin, especially those who passed away recently. Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. Also let us remember those who passed in this horrible earthquake that occurred. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive those who passed and grant them mercy. Let us remember them also in our recitation of Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. Ma'a as-salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله.